Did you know that Franklin had been arrested before the events of Grand Theft Auto 5? I think I speak for everyone when I say that Franklin might be the most mysterious protagonist in GTA 5. While we know quite a bit about the pasts of the other main characters, there's much less information about Franklin's backstory. That said, in this video I'll share 20 interesting facts about this character who has captivated GTA 5 players. Before we dive in, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel to support my work. Without further ado, let's get started. Franklin is the only protagonist in GTA 5 who doesn't naturally play tennis. Although both Franklin and Michael are known to smoke cigarettes, we don't see Franklin smoking as much as Michael. At Franklin's mansion, you can spot packs of redwood cigarettes scattered on tables along with several ashtrays. Additionally, he's seen smoking during the mission The Hotel Assassination, while waiting for Lester to show up and assign the mission, giving us a small glimpse into his habits. Franklin is also the only character capable of using the Lockpick. This device allows him to steal parked cars without breaking the windows, something many players might not have noticed. It's incredibly useful for avoiding attention from pedestrians or the police during a car theft. Let me know in the comments if you ever noticed this while playing as Franklin. Unlike CJ, the protagonist of GTA San Andreas, Franklin is less naive when it comes to gangs. He understands that gangs are not a real family and that they'll betray you if it benefits them. This becomes evident in his interactions with Stretch and Lamar throughout the game. In the beta version, Franklin was set to look quite different. He initially had a triple rails haircut, not as an in-game option, and was shorter and chubbier. However, in the final version, Franklin is tall and muscular, making him a completely different character from the beta concept. It's almost hard to imagine how he would have turned out. It's possible that Franklin lost his virginity to Tonya. In one of the tow truck missions, Tonya mentions that something happened between them behind a burger shot when Franklin was only 13 years old. However, Franklin denies it, insisting that nothing serious ever happened. Unlike the other protagonists, Franklin didn't suffer abuse from his parents. However, that doesn't mean his childhood was smooth. Franklin's father abandoned him before he was even born, and his mother, who was a victim of abuse, became addicted to substances, including during her pregnancy. This likely contributed to her death when Franklin was still very young. Franklin's first crime happened during his childhood, when he and his friend JB, later Tonya's boyfriend, who falls into heavy drug use, started selling substances on the street. Their business was running well until Franklin's grandfather caught them in the act. According to Tonya, Franklin's grandfather chased the two all over South Los Santos before eventually catching them. This story shows how Franklin was exposed to crime at an early age. Franklin is also the only character in the entire GTA series to have a pet, his dog Chop. Players can take Chop out to play or even use him in combat. According to some theories, Franklin's unique connection to animals might explain why he can understand the ghostly talking dog that appears in certain side missions in GTA 5. Due to the absence of his parents from an early age, Franklin was raised by his grandparents, who took on the roles of mother and father in his life. Unlike his biological parents, his grandparents never mistreated him and did their best to provide love and care, raising him in a more supportive environment. However, the early years spent with his mother and the dangerous environment of South Los Santos directly influenced Franklin, leading him to become a troubled youth who entered the world of crime at a very young age. The house where Franklin lived with his aunt Denise, located on Forum Drive in South Los Santos, was not the same house where he lived with his mother or grandparents. This house was inherited after the death of his grandparents and was notably unused before Franklin moved in. This detail suggests that despite living in a poor neighborhood, Franklin's family had some degree of financial stability, though Franklin only became wealthy years later. Additionally, there are hints that Franklin may be Christian or, at the very least, familiar with the Bible. This becomes evident when he immediately recognizes a Bible verse sarcastically quoted by Michael after they demolish Martin Madrazo's house during the mission where they chase the tennis coach.
Ah! Fucking A! Let's see how he liked that!
Whoa, man!
Fuck him! And fuck his deck!
Hey, homie, I think you put a little more than a deck down.
That's a foolish man who built his house on sand, baby.
Hey, man, I don't think my boy Matthew was thinking truck when he wrote that shit.
Another clue to Franklin's connection to Christianity is the option to tattoo a Bible verse on his back, indicating his familiarity with religious texts. Franklin attended elementary and high school at David High School, an educational institution that, while not visible on the map, is mentioned several times throughout the game. It was in this environment that he built strong friendships with Lamar Davis, Tanisha, his future girlfriend, and Tonya, characters who appear frequently in the story. However, Franklin was expelled from this school after assaulting a teacher for reasons that remain unknown. This event became a turning point for Franklin, pushing him deeper into the gang world as school no longer seemed like a viable option. At some point in his life, Franklin had a serious relationship with Tanisha, likely the most significant of his journey. This is evident from the many photos of her displayed in the new house he acquires during the game. Everything seemed to be fine between them until the death of one of Tanisha's brothers, killed by a gangster in a gang-related conflict. This tragedy profoundly affected Tanisha, creating a strong aversion to the gang lifestyle, which ultimately led to her breaking up with Franklin. Tanisha chose to follow a safer path, distancing herself from that environment, further widening the gap between them. In 2008, Franklin briefly worked for a toxic substance transporter named Marcos. However, Marcos's poor management and selfishness led to Franklin's arrest, resulting in a prison sentence that lasted less than 4 years. After serving his time, Franklin resolved to turn his life around, distancing himself from gangs and seeking honest work. He also tried to win Tanisha back, but during the events of GTA 5, this didn't pan out. However, in the DLC, The Contract, it is revealed that Franklin eventually married Tanisha and now has 2 children with her. Although Franklin's exact date of birth is never explicitly mentioned in the game, an interesting detail provides a hint about his age. His car's license plate reads FC 1988. This could be interpreted as Franklin Clinton 1988, indicating his possible birth year. This means Franklin was born in South Los Santos 4 years before the events of GTA San Andreas, when CJ was only 17 years old. Thus, during the events of GTA 5 in 2013, Franklin would be 25 years old, and by the DLC The Contract, he would be 33, making him the youngest protagonist in the HD universe. Franklin is known for being much calmer and more composed than Michael or Trevor. While Michael has an explosive temper and Trevor is notoriously unstable, Franklin exhibits a tranquil personality, often acting as the peacemaker during the frequent arguments between the other 2 protagonists. His calm demeanor is evident in various missions, where he accomplishes his objectives with minimal difficulty, showcasing the balance and determination he had to change his life during the game's storyline. Additionally, Franklin demonstrates remarkable patience when dealing with friends like Lamar, who is constantly getting into trouble and talking nonsense. However, despite his admirable traits, Franklin is the only one of the 3 protagonists who doesn't fully resolve his personal issues by the end of the game. He finishes the story separated from Tanisha, his aunt Denise still resents him, and depending on the chosen ending, Stretch might still be alive and plotting to kill him. Franklin's special ability, as many players know, is slowing down time while driving any land vehicle. This allows him to maneuver with precision and exercise near superhuman control during this period. This skill likely developed during his years in the gang lifestyle, where he participated in street races and dangerous situations that demanded the highest level of driving expertise. This mastery is one of the reasons why Franklin works as a luxury car repossession agent at the beginning of GTA 5, highlighting his prowess in both stealing and driving vehicles. During the Palito Bay heist, Franklin shares that his first robbery was a small seaside job where he was supposed to earn about $2,000. However, due to a security system, a dye pack exploded, staining the money and rendering it useless.
You ever hit a bank before, Franklin?
Yeah, I was the driver on the job my boy Lamar pulled. Guess it's the same kind of shit we doing now, right?
Nice, bro. What was the take?
Shit, I don't know, man. I can't remember. Yeah. Okay. The score was like 2 stacks, man.
2G? Take home on your first gig? That ain't bad, man.
Man, the whole score was 2 stacks. Only I didn't see none of that shit. Dye pack went off, homie. Money was useless then.
Dye pack. You amateur!
Interestingly, Franklin claims he acted as the getaway driver in this heist, so it doesn't quite make sense that he would be responsible for disarming the security system. The mistake, it seems, was likely Lamar's, not Franklin's. Like Michael and Trevor, who had hobbies or sports in their youth, Franklin also had a pastime he was deeply invested in: music mixing. In both homes he lives in during the events of the game, players can spot a DJ table or mixing station. This suggests that creating remixes or mixing tracks was an important part of Franklin's life. Occasionally, when selecting Franklin as the playable character, he can be found in a mixing session before players regain control of him. Even though there isn't as much background information about Franklin compared to Michael or Trevor, it's clear that he is a fascinating and multi-dimensional character. And guys, besides the curiosities I shared here, there are another 30 incredible facts about the differences between the GTA 5 trailer and the released version. Click on the video indicated by the arrow to check it out. And that's today's video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Take care and bye.